Plan 2020 is an unprecedented, comprehensive collaboration between public and private organizations. It is a partnership between the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee and the City of Indianapolis designed to realize the community's collective vision for the future.
Plan 2020 is about making this place an attractive place for our children and grandchildren, making it somewhere where they have opportunity.
Plan 2020 is supposed to be something beyond aspirational. It's supposed to be actionable.
I think Plan 2020 represents the roadmap or the blueprint for collective action.
We wanted to use this opportunity to rethink how we did community planning. That meant that we wanted to coordinate and update in multiple plans at once so that we had the same conversation updating multiple different policy documents, which had never really been done before. We also wanted to kind of reinvent how we engage the community.
I was pretty excited when Plan 2020 started rolling out because it was at one time a visionary, comprehensive community development plan for the city. And it was pretty important at the time to do that. There were a lot of disparate initiatives and different things going on, and Plan 2020 was a way to bring it all together.
And I remember at that one of those first meetings where you kind of got a sense of who's in the room, who's going to be chairing the various segments of it, and it looked like it was not the same old people, the same old faces. It was a combination of newer generation, up-and-coming emerging leaders, as well as the older gray beards, gray hairs, and the veterans and people that, the usual suspects is what I might call them. Just kind of a combination of that. And that was good to see, because that said that there's going to be a diversity of opinions and a diversity of approaches that's going to be employed for this project.
I think Plan 2020 is really essential in that it's bringing together so many different aspects that all really contribute to what makes our city strong and visionary, and one that will just continue to grow.
What makes the process behind Plan 2020 so unique?
You have to start with people and not places or things. It's not like starting with the city and like putting that on people, but it's more like, it's like looking at it the other way. Well, like, what do the residents think and feel and say, and what do they want more of? Or what are they asking for? What have they been saying for years and years that we haven't been listening to?
We asked folks to put on sticky notes, answer to several questions that were on several boards, and one of the questions that was asked is, why do you love Indianapolis? And the person put a sticky note on there and said, I love Indianapolis because they asked. And so this whole notion of, how many cities are out there that really undertake this massive effort to really do an extensive outreach and find out, tell us, what do you want Indianapolis to be?
One of the wonderful things about Plan 2020 is the bringing together of all different segments of our community and trying to find ways that we can solve problems jointly or address situations jointly. And that's something that I think has aided our work. It's opened doors, created new conversations, allowed for new avenues of collaboration and partnership. And it's, we've got such a wonderful spirit of collaboration in this city, and Plan 2020 is just another shining example of that.
As a parallel process, Great Places 2020 was influenced by Plan 2020 in the sense that there's this real need currently in Indianapolis to create authentic, vibrant places, places that you can go to do a variety of different things, but that are unique and that are special. Great Places 2020 emerged out of that.
I really appreciated the volunteers that we had to come and meet. We really were starting from scratch to address just the work issues and employment issues, and we had a good group of persons on our committee that took time from their job and their other, not-for-profit, for-profit corporations that would come and meet with us regularly and share ideas about how this community could be better.
For me personally, the ability to be part of something larger than the library but to bring the library into that larger effort was very, very fulfilling. I believe strongly that the library is an integral part of our community institutions, but sometimes the library isn't at the table with other institutions, and the 2020 process gave us a chance to really be at the table.
One of the things that the pedestrian plan did, and that we talked a lot about in the connectivity committee, was the need for prioritizing limited resources. So we have tremendous need. We have, frankly, probably billions of dollars of need for infrastructure in this city, and there's no way we can ever get that all done at the spending with the spending levels we have now. And so one of the things that's extremely important is understanding, when we make decisions about where we're spending that money, what is the rationale, what information is being used, how are we providing equity, being sensitive to the large geography of the county, but then getting things done and getting really important projects done.
As we gathered input in the Plan 2020 process, we were able to take that input and put it into our comprehensive economic development strategy, and vice versa. As we were developing strategies for the broader region, there are components that are specific to Indianapolis, Marion County.
It was fun working in the hall, actually, and kind of having these, a really beautiful old space that, was our headquarters, where the public could kind of trickle in every day and ask us questions or just wonder what's going on. And just the mix of organizations popping in and interns working and just people that were just constantly thinking about how to make Indianapolis better. That was awesome. And to do that in in this beautiful, kind of creepy, scary space, but just a beautiful old building that had so much history. That was fun to me.
Everybody talks the talk, and this is what we want to do, but is this really going to actually happen? And it did happen, and it happened in ways that we, I think never even imagined. And we were kind of building the plane in the air, and outsprung another committee that in the process we realized that we had a gap, and so we changed course.
We went into Plan 2020 with somewhat of a plan, but that evolved over time. And we had to be uncomfortable with not knowing exactly what the next step was. And I think that's the beauty in being a creator.
Indianapolis has over 800,000 residents. How is a unified vision identified?
Our community needs to learn how to work between the different races, different income levels, and different religions to come together as a community and look at everyone as a resource.
As Indianapolis looks to attract talent and looks to attract technology talent, we see this effort as creating an engine in Indianapolis that really appeals to millennial technology talent that wants to be a part of a city that is forward-facing, that is communicating with constituents in a 21st century manner.
We wanted to find ways for people to talk about Indianapolis in a positive way versus kind of justifying why we lived here, right? Which we've done for a long time.
Cities compete viciously on a daily basis, and so if Indianapolis sits idle, will be passed by. And so I think it's incumbent on not only the Plan 2020 team and those implementation partners, but the community as a whole to make sure that we race ahead. That well past 2020, not only have we exceeded all the goals and tactics and cascading objectives that we want to put in place, but that we look back and say, wow, this is something that really helped us. It helped galvanize the community, it helped get all the partners together, and it wasn't just a piece of paper or a project that was stuck on a shelf, that it was actually implemented and adopted by partners.
We've been very blessed over the years to have terrific mayors for many, many years, going back really for 50 or more years. And Mayor Hogsett is just another in a long line of people who have vision, who have energy, and who have a terrific team around them.
We knew that in order to really address some of our big population health statistics, it was going to take a large effort and a very cross-sector collaboration. And so what I think Plan 2020 has specifically allowed us to do is really strategically align ourselves with some of the sectors that maybe weren't at the table for Top 10 early on.
This was a multi-year, multi-partner project. How did the idea of this living, breathing document evolve?
The idea behind the Bicentennial agenda was not there at the very beginning. It became obvious as the committees started populating their strategies and action steps and goals that we really needed some high-level vision document that tied it all together. And it's important to remember that the Bicentennial agenda is one piece of Plan 2020.
I think it's exciting to see that it's not one plan, it's a compilation of many plans and many ideas that are coming together.
This gives us certainly an opportunity to look at plans that haven't been updated, in some cases decades, and collaboratively work with neighborhood groups and organizations to update those plans and design them so that they are current and forward-thinking.
What I have learned about this town is that always the private-public partnership is being very strong. And I think that Plan 2020 represents once again that we still believe on that. So when I see what we did and the people that came to the table, again, it was private, public, I mean, all kinds of backgrounds, believing in one thing, that they want to make this city better.
It will help us to all focus in a handful of areas that we know represent the most significant needs of our community.
As the CEO for Leadership Indianapolis, it did help us identify some key elements that we need to work on as a community if we truly want to stay vital in a thriving and sustainable city.
Oh, I think it's directly related to what we do. We are the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the greatest racetrack in the world, and we are also a hub for not only the city but the state. And so we play an integral part in the community. We feel that our role in the community is vital, and there are many parts of the plan that intersect in terms of jobs, technology, education, the transportation, things that we feel very passionate about are touched on by the plan.
It was a wonderful opportunity to connect with a number of institutions that I did not know that were just out here doing wonderful work. I mean, to learn that, for example, the National Black MBA Association is majority not black. I mean, interesting things like that. To reconnect with institutions that have been around in Indianapolis doing work for 60, 70 years that maybe have a low profile, but to just know that they were out there and doing things. I've been able to access those institutions and develop partnerships and to really, promote individuals in the work that I'm doing now.
There is an intentionality now about creating places and spaces for artists and communities to gather.
A lot of people in other cities love their city too, we know that. But Indianapolis has that special sauce, that sweet spot for engagement, and that has been there, and I think that will only continue, and we will continue to build on that.
It's really helped us focus our efforts around the shared values of our community. We know that a lot of the work that we're doing serves those values or connects to those values, and we can be more intentional about the work that we will do in the future. One of the things that Plan 2020 has done incredibly well is put together or connected rather a group of leaders at all levels of their game. So we can learn from one another, we can make sure that we are all working to align our efforts, and I think that accelerates the growth and the progress that our city will make in the future.
And I'm not sure what exactly the future holds, but it's great that we were able to come together and prepare for the future and really get on paper what the community wants our city to look like.
LISC, as part of our work with Great Places 2020 and Quality of Life Neighborhoods, has launched a new evaluation framework, and we're going to be using Indy Vitals, which has emerged out of Plan 2020, as a way to benchmark our progress and the progress of each neighborhood. So basically, every neighborhood will have access to these key indicators that measure their success and really measure true progress in their neighborhood over time.
Well, we're very excited about Indy Vitals. We had been talking for several years about how to get involved in the big data movement, right? And we have all kinds of data about our operation. But putting that in context with other data about our city and trying to understand trends, trying to understand if the things we do make a difference somewhere in the city, it's been difficult to do standing alone. by bringing our information into the Indy Vitals process, now we have points of comparison, now we have trends. They're much more multidimensional than if we were trying to do something by ourselves. So we're very excited about Indy Vitals. I think it's going to be a great tool for us for the next several years.
How can the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee ensure this community vision is realized?
Gypsy has always kind of paved a path for where this city is going to go and made a map to get there. And I think here is no different. Gypsy's going to continue to look at this map and roll it out and figure out what pieces of the puzzle can we control, or can we help and can we assist to build what is Plan 2020.
Well, I think you have a document now that can give you that groundwork, if you will. And I think Gypsy should prioritize, as you're talking with the partners and all this, what can we really get done now?
Well, for me personally, what I have gained in being a part of Gypsy is the connection with the broader corporate community, as well as our municipal city government leaders, having more time to interact with them and to not only share the Urban League's goals and aspirations, but also to inquire about how we can come alongside Gypsy and others to support the overall vision and work for this community.
When I was an intern in the mayor's office like years and years ago, it was one of the first things I did was to work with Gypsy and to learn about the significance of that institution quietly behind the scenes and all the work that they've done. And I really think that Gypsy has the opportunity to, it's not that they are going to do the heavy lifting, it's more like they're the quarterback, the coordinator, they're the ones that can keep the plan on the radar to keep us pressing and looking forward into the 21st century. And so I'm excited about and appreciate their role in their ability to do that.
The Plan 2020 initiative is an innovative exercise in community planning and civic engagement, driven by the desire to see Indianapolis as a healthier, more resilient, more inclusive, and competitive city well beyond 2020.
Plan 2020 doesn't really leave you. Once you learn something, it doesn't go away. Once you're exposed to an experience, it doesn't go away. Once you establish new relationships, those don't disappear. So I've continued to interact and partner with folks who I've met along the way from Plan 2020. I was doing work in the community around building stronger neighborhoods in a few of our neighborhoods already. I've seen that work strengthened by being able to bring some of the perspectives learned through Plan 2020. So yeah, I think definitely it's in my heart and won't leave me.
And it's not a 4-year thing or a 10 or 20-year thing, but it's about improving the quality of life every single day for every single person.
It really helped us begin to focus in on some of those things, and that is a thrilling thing to do because we love connecting people into the community, and I think Plan 2020 helped us do that.
Indianapolis is a pretty incredible community, and I firmly believe that this plan, the overall plan, can be accomplished in the timeline that we have set because there are so many people doing such incredible things and people that want to do incredible things.
Indianapolis is unique because you have the ability to come to the city and really help define it. You have the ability to connect with people. Generally, no one ever says no if you want to meet with them, and that ranges from, from the coordinator to the CEO in any kind of institution. And if you can get enough people together and have a strong vision, then you can get a lot of things done in the city, and that's what I appreciate about being here.
We all know that to continue to improve on our city, it takes funding and it takes time, but it also takes great thoughts of wonderful people around the table engaged in those conversations. And so when you have that type of dialogue where somebody comes up with a what if and wouldn't it be great, and then someone else builds on that idea and opportunity, I think that is the best part of the Plan 2020 planning process.
I think Plan 2020 has really helped, again, create a nice tapestry of organizations connected to one another, aligned with our common shared goals to make our city the best it can be.
I think that
the work that we've done through Health by Design, the work of Plan 2020, and then that overlap and even the PED plan itself really is foundational and work that will extend not just for the next few years, but decades to come.
Pick this book up and read it. This matters. This matters for you. It matters for your family. It matters for your kids. It matters for your community. Start asking your local leadership and your politicians and your community organizations. I see this Plan 2020. I see this in Plan 2020. I'm excited about it. What can I do to help? What are we doing to help? What are you doing to help? How can we make this happen? That is, from the very beginning to now, the thing that I think we have to press hard on is making sure everyday average citizens of Indianapolis who aren't a part of putting the plan together understand you are definitely part of making sure Plan 2020 happens, because without you, it will not happen.
People will always want to be able to get around their community. People will always want to be better connected to one another. People will always want to volunteer and be civically engaged. So I think some of the themes will certainly live on. They'll outlive our time on this project. Only the action steps will change, and maybe the partners will exchange hands. But the themes, I think, are everlasting.